Coming to paperback and e-readers from the author of the critically acclaimed book The Man Crisis comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women are becoming lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Pre-order your copy of The Woman Crisis on Amazon.com today. In a previous video, I talked about the male guru culture of people like the late Kevin Samuels. And in that video, I talked about how these gurus often influence the minds of many men in social circles like the black manosphere and look to take advantage of them. Now, an offshoot of that male guru culture is this female guru culture. Now, many of the women who are a part of the female guru culture, what they want to do is go out here and take the talking points from YouTubers like myself who talk about men's issues and use that to lay the foundation for building a platform where they can go out here and make themselves appear appealing to audiences of black men. So many of these women who are entering into this manosphere, they are given an invite by many of the black males on social media because many of these women are saying the things that many of those men want to hear. So they let those women into their personal spaces that were supposed to be male exclusive. And as those females come into those spaces, what these females do is they go on into these spaces telling these black males what they want to hear. And as they're telling them what they want to hear, they go out here and build a platform in male spaces like your black manosphere. And as these women build their platforms in spaces like the black manosphere, they have gone out here and built a tremendous base of subscribers. Some have 50,000 subscribers, others have 60,000 subscribers, others have 70,000 subscribers, and most of that audience is primarily men who are listening to her use, again, the same talking points that I would go out here and use. However, because these women dress themselves up with their natural hair and put on some Afrocentric clothes, or they go out here and dress up in a fancy outfit with makeup, many of these men would rather listen to those women because they believe that those women are some kind of righteous sister. But what many of these black males don't understand is you're just buying into a gimmick. And you're buying into a gimmick because these women basically are putting on a lot of flash because this is what's going to get the attention of many of the more thirsty black males who are frustrated about the black women in their community, and they want to believe that this black woman who is saying all the right things is a woman that is so-called righteous. But in many cases, the women that they're listening to, these gurus, are basically playing the role of a female chameleon. And what the female chameleon is doing is going out here and dressing the part, acting the part, and playing the role that the young black males want them to play. And what they're doing is telling the black male what he wants to hear and presenting it in a very appealing and attractive package. And because you have these female gurus coming on the air in a very attractive way, what this does is it makes many of these males get really thirsty online. And what these males do is, as they're getting thirsty online, what they do is start creating a covert contract between themselves and the female guru whose live streams and videos they're watching. And what they do is the same thing that the black woman does with the black pastor. They start making tithes and offerings to the woman by going out here and dropping money on her Cash App, dropping money on her Patreon, dropping money on her Super Chats, and many of these women, because they have the look that black men find appealing, what these guys do is they start dropping $50 Cash Apps, $100 Cash Apps, $100 Super Chats, $100 donations to these women in practically every stream. And many of these guys, they only are dropping these donations because they believe that if they drop donations to this woman, maybe this woman will give them some attention. And again, it is no different than what the cyber simp does when he's online and he's watching one of these live streams with one of these scantily clad women who are on places like Twitch. So what the so-called female guru is doing is no different than what the e-girl is doing. Unfortunately, you have a lot of thirsty black men who don't see how this is the exact same gimmick that I talked about in my book, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. And sadly, what we've got are a lot of black male thirsty simps, and these thirsty simps are just flocking to these live streams with these black female relationship gurus and listening to these black female gurus tell them how bad black women are, and ironically not seeing the ratchet female sitting in front of them and not seeing that this female is basically running the same game that your e-girls go out here and run on platforms like Twitch. But these women come to YouTube, and you have all of these guys out here trying to chase this woman and trying to get her attention and her approval and hope that she says their name during one of the live streams or on one of the videos. And they're hoping that if they go out here and spend enough money, eventually they can turn her from saying their name to going out here and answering an email personally and hoping, wishing, and praying that possibly there's an opportunity at them possibly making a personal connection. But you're never going to make any sort of connection with this woman. And many of these cyber simps really don't see how they're just getting caught up in a fantasy regarding this woman and never understanding that what you're seeing basically is just an online persona. This is the big problem with many of your cyber simps out here. Many of your cyber simps, they'll sit there and think, oh, this is a so-called good woman. This is a ideal of the kind of sister I want to get with. But if this was an ideal sister, she would not be online. No, she would be with her husband. Now, I know some of these women say that they're married, but if their husband really cared about his woman, he would not have his woman on a platform talking to other men, because he would understand that if she's talking to other men, she's going to be getting a lot of these thirsty dudes in her DMs, and a lot of these guys are going to be making proposals to his woman, and no man wants that to happen, because that's, again, extremely disrespectful to him for his woman to be sitting there talking to all of these other men. So when I look at that whole situation, you got this so-called female guru talking about the black woman being bad, again, telling the black man what he wants to hear, what makes him feel good. He doesn't really understand that, again, if this was a quality woman, she's not going to be online sitting up and talking to a group of other men, because her man would understand that would reflect badly on him if his lady is online talking to other dudes. Again, I talk about this in depth in my book, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. but many of these black males, they don't really understand what's going on because again because males are visual, they get caught up in their feelings about this woman again appearing to be the ideal and not understanding in real life if this woman were the ideal, she would not be on the air with all of these other men. Her man would not allow this because he would understand, again, if your woman is online with other dudes, chances are she's going to make a play for one of those other dudes. So this female guru, again, is basically, again, playing the role of the female chameleon, playing the part, again, that the black man wants to see, playing the role that he wants her to see her in, and not understanding that the image that he's seeing is a fantasy meant to appeal to the rose-colored ideals he has for women, and that this role is again meant to sell him on ideas so that she can go out here and profit at his expense, because like the e-girl, what she's doing is getting the black male caught up in his own lust. And as he's caught up in his own lust as related to the image that this woman is presenting, he's the one out here dropping the $100 super chats or the $200 super chats, as this woman uses, again, same talking points from a guy like me, but those same black males, if they saw information coming from a black man like myself or guys like Ringo, they wouldn't want to drop any money on the channel, nor would they want to drop money on the stream in some cases. But when this woman goes out here and makes the same talking points that she got from guys like me, what they do is you got the same guys dropping all of this money, again showing us that it's all about them going out here and looking to simp on these women online and looking to, again, try to get a covert contract implemented where they think, oh, if I continue to drop super chats and cash apps on this woman, eventually it will lead to a meeting, and it eventually will lead to him getting a possibility of getting this woman to drop the skid mark thong, and he will be able to put the carbon rod in the atomic waste reactor, and he hopes that eventually he'll be able to go out here and be able to get with this ideal woman, not understanding that this real woman is running real game, and many of these gurus, like the male gurus, are basically using gimmicks to go out here and get the attention of these guys. And as they're looking to get the attention of these guys, what they want to do is go out here and use these guys as a way to, again, build their platforms. And what's really sad is these women wound up getting on these platforms because we had a lot of simps in the manosphere who were thinking that these women were out to give these guys a female perspective on men's issues, not understanding the female chameleons were just agreeing with them to get them to open the door. And once they got them to open the door, they hijacked the manosphere and used it to go out here and sell the black man on buying their products. And as they got them to buy into their narratives, they then took over, again, lots of the social media, and these gurus basically took over, all because you had a group of weak men who could not set boundaries for themselves and set boundaries for their space. So you have a lot of these thirsty guys now out here chasing these same women on the manosphere. And again, the black manosphere was supposed to be a place about black men working with other black men to improve themselves, but it has turned into another gynocentric space where you'll have all of these black male simps out here looking to defend the female gurus and protect their space, not understanding that the same females that they're trying to protect are running the same game that the e-girls are running on Twitch, and running a game to undermine them and take advantage of them. And as they're taking advantage of those men in the manosphere, they've got a whole group of thirsty simps chasing them. And as they've got the thirsty simps chasing them, they are thinking that these women are speaking some sort of gospel truth, and that they're thinking that there's some sort of ideal, when all you're dealing with is a female chameleon who is playing the role of a unicorn. And as you're chasing the unicorn, you're not focusing on more important goals like improving yourself, and you're going out here building up these females' platforms at the expense of other men who've gone out here and laid foundations, and like myself, and tried to improve the quality of life for men. And again, your thirsty black male guys out here who are chasing the gurus, they never understood, they never stood a chance at all with this female. Again, their covert contract that they have, they're thinking, oh, if I go out here and give this woman all of this money, I'm going to be able to finally get, again, a shot at her dropping a skid mark thong and getting a taste of the atomic waste, when all these guys are going to get is a big pile of egg on their face, because that female was never available, and that female never was who she said. She's created an online persona, and that online persona is just something that is a gimmick that she uses to sell herself, the same way Steve Harvey used his so-called relationship expert status to finesse himself into a talk show. And then after he got his talk show and got his big break in Hollywood, he abandoned all of the people who supported him in Chicago, and he basically fired all those people and then decided to go to Hollywood. And then once Steve Harvey went to Hollywood, he then became as washed up as a pair of drawers on the spin cycle. And again, this is the same paradigm that your thirsty female gurus are following, and they're following the same platform that the late Kevin Samuels followed. So this whole platform is, again, not one that is constructive, because people are not learning what they need to grow. They're not learning how to improve themselves as men. They're not learning how to improve the quality of their lives. And many of these men are getting sidetracked because they're so busy listening to female gurus, hoping to get into the draws, that they're winding up with their lives drawing to a bad end. And it's all because many of these men don't understand what type of predator they're dealing with this e-girl in disguise, because that's all your female guru is, an e-girl in disguise. Now, if you want to learn more about these online female predators like e-girls and IG models, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping in Cyberspace, on Amazon.com. And if you want to pick up some of my other men's issues books, like Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, Manginas, The Misadventures of Captain Save-'em, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, and The Man Crisis, you can find all those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them on Smashwords, the iBook Store, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle, Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Learn how to avoid predatory females like Instagram models and e-girls in their virtual con games with Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Get your copy of Stop Simping in Cyberspace in paperback and Kindle today.